Good evening, everyone. It is 7:32 p.m. on December the 13th, 2023. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Municipal Land Use Board of the Borough of River Edge. This meeting of the Municipal Land Use Board of the Borough of River Edge is being held remotely and recorded via Zoom due to Borough Council Chambers' unavailability and is in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act and associated regulations. Notice of this remote meeting was published in the Bergen Record on October 6, 2022, posted on the front doors of Borough Hall and posted on the borough's website. The notice included the dial-in and login information necessary for public participation and access to this meeting remotely. A copy of the agenda for the meeting was made available on the borough's website near the posting of the meeting notice and included the dial-in and login information. During the public comment period of this meeting, if you would like to make a public comment, please press the raise hand button on Zoom or dial *9 on your telephone keypad to raise your hand. The board will address you by name or by the last 4 digits of your telephone number. You may mute and unmute yourself by pressing the microphone icon on Zoom or dialing *6 on your telephone keypad. You must state your name and address clearly prior to making a public comment. With that, I'll ask Ms. Steinle to call the roll.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Here.
Mr. Caslin.
Here.
Ms. Boland.
Here.
Mr. Merman.
Here.
Mr. Pfeffer.
Here.
Mr. Cray.
Here.
Mr. Arkelian.
Here.
Councilman Kinigo.
Here.
Mr. Gibbons.
Here.
And Mr. Esposito and Mr. Bastide are excused.
They are excused. Okay.
Also, Mr. Behrens and Mr. Costa are also here.
Great. All right, thank you. Our first agenda item for this evening is the approval of minutes. We'll move right into that. We have a draft set of minutes from our meeting of November 8, 2023. It was circulated to the board prior to this evening's meeting for review and comment. I'll open it to the board for any comments on the November 8th minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Merman.
I've reviewed my copy of the minutes and I find them acceptable. I didn't see any changes when I reviewed it. I recommend it for acceptance.
I have just one typo on page 8 with a reference to 15 or 15,000 gallons, probably be 1,500. I think there's just an extra 0 on there.
Oh,
Third line from the bottom of page 8. So, I don't know if anybody else has anything. Okay, with that one modification, I'll look for a motion on the minutes, please.
Move to accept motions as read.
Thank you, Mr. Cray. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second.
I think Ms. Boland beat Mr. Arkelian. Thank you very much.
I digress to Ms. Boland.
To do a voice
And-
vote.
Yes, we can do a voice vote. Only Mr. Pfeffer was absent that day.
Okay, so with the exception of Mr. Pfeffer, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. Thank you. Anyone else other than Mr. Pfeffer abstaining? I don't think there is, but just to be. Okay. Our next item on the agenda this evening under approval of minutes, we have a draft set of minutes from our November 29th meeting was circulated for review and comments of the board prior to this evening. I open it to the board for any comments on those minutes.
Mr. Chairman, likewise, I reviewed these minutes and find them acceptable.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Merman. Anyone else on the board? Comments, questions on the draft minutes from our meeting on the 29th? Okay, there being none, I'll look for a motion on the minutes, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Boland. Is there a second? I think I got Mr. Arkelian on a second there.
You do?
Okay, thank you, sir. With the exception again, is there anybody who's
This was only Mr. Gibbons was absent.
Mr. Gibbons? Okay, so with the exception of Mr. Gibbons, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? Other than Mr. Gibbons? Okay, thank you very much. Next item this evening for discussion is the calendar for the board's meetings for calendar year 2024. Believe our Ed Alter had circulated a calendar for review. I think the only item I noted on there was the November 27th meeting being the day before Thanksgiving, which might pose a scheduling issue. We certainly can leave it on there for now and see how things work out, but I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that or any of the other dates that have been proposed.
Mr. Chair, I would think that's a tough day to do anything. I know personally I'd be traveling.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Gibbons, I think we're having some audio.
There's another profile with your name up there.
I was having trouble with my. Hold on. Got it.
Uh-oh.
Ryan, you have to cancel both the mic and the speaker on the second item.
All right, so it sounded like I think Mr. Gibbons had also indicated that he thought that day may be challenging, so.
Might I recommend we do that month, we do the 6th and the 20th instead of the 13th and the 27th?
I think that's a good solution. Any other thoughts? Okay. Ed, if we can contemplate revising those dates, and we'll take action, I think, to approve the I think there's a
Okay, so I'm gonna officially make it November 6th and November 20th, and I'll send that to the mayor and council.
that'd be great. Okay.
And just to confirm, we have only one meeting in December, which is the 11th, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, we can take a motion we can either vote on it today to memorialize the dates or at the reorg meeting. We've done it both. I looked in the past and we've done it both ways, so whatever you're comfortable with.
We can wait till the reorg meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving along in our agenda, the next item this evening are memorializations. The first item there under is Coretta Investments LLC. Property was 298 Taft Road. This is block 1108, lot 28. We have a resolution before us accepting the withdrawal and dismissal of the application without prejudice. Draft of the resolution was circulated earlier for review. Any comments or questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Merman.
likewise, I have reviewed this and I find it acceptable.
Thank you, sir. Any further comments, questions on the resolution for Coretta Investments? Okay, there being none, I will look for a motion to approve the resolution.
Moved.
Thank you, Mr. Correa. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Ms. Boland.
Mhm.
We can do an all in favor for this one.
You want to do a voice on this one too? Okay,
That's
we'll
fine.
do that. Very good. All right. I think, is there anyone not, everybody's eligible, I think, on this one.
Yeah, Mr. Pfeffer wasn't at the hearing, but we didn't take action at that meeting, so he can vote on the withdrawal.
Okay, all right. That being the case, all in favor for the approval of the resolution for Coretta Investments?
Aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstained? Okay, there being none, the resolution is approved. Our next resolution this evening is for Dabney, Joe and Deborah. Property is 390 Fifth Avenue, block 906, lot 39. The resolution granting a variance for maximum improved lot coverage. Draft of the resolution was circulated for review prior to the meeting, and I'll open it to the board for comments or questions on the draft resolution.
Mr. Chairman, likewise, I reviewed this one up at Darby up on Fifth Avenue. That was the one with the swimming pool where we spent quite a bit of time. I find the resolution as presented acceptable.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Merman. Any other comments, questions from the board? Okay, with that, I'll look for a motion on this resolution, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Craig.
All right, I'll go through this one.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer was absent that meeting, Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kenigo,
Yes.
and Mr. Gibbons.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes.
Okay. Our next resolution is for Kwang Sung Lee. Property is 750 Center Avenue, block 410, lot 4. Resolution granting a variance from maximum improved lot coverage. Draft of the resolution was circulated prior to the meeting. Open it to the board for comments or questions.
Mr.
I-
Chairman, I reviewed this resolution and I had a discussion today with with Marina, and I'll let her carry forth on the revisions.
Yes, there were a couple revisions on page 6, paragraph 22, where we describe the motion. I also included a description of some of the conditions, including the installation of patio screening, removing the shrub/bush on the corner of the property, and complying with the borough engineer's comments, among other items. And then, let's see, on page 8, paragraph 8, I wrote the incorrect improved lot coverage number. It should be 39.2% instead of 36.3. So that's fixed. And then on page 9, under the conditions, I included as a sub paragraph G, the applicant shall remove the existing shrub/bush at the corner of the property near the River Street and Center Avenue intersection. That was marked on the plans, but just wanted to make sure that was recorded as well. So those are all the revisions, and I reviewed with Mr. Barrett and he was fine with them as well.
Okay, great. Questions from the board, comments? Okay, with those modifications being considered, I'll look for a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Cray. There's a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons.
Oh, Mr. Gibbons was absent at the last meeting
At the last minute, not at that one.
for
For Lee,
the 29th.
Yeah, you were absent.
you were,
I thought we were, sorry, my apologies.
yeah.
No problem.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Boland.
So I'll only call those eligible. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kenigo.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Moving right along, next resolution for approval this evening is for Catherine and Nicholas Sartori, excuse me, 131 Kensington Road, block 815, lot 2. Resolution granting a variance for maximum improved lot coverage. Draft of the resolution was circulated for review prior to the meeting this evening, and I'll open it to the board for comments or questions.
Okay, once again, Mr. Chairman, I reviewed this resolution and I think it's written without any comments from me, and I recommend it for approval.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Merman. Any other comments from the board? Okay, I will look for a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved?
Thank you, Ms. Bowman.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Arkelian.
All right. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
sorry. Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Last but not least, under memorializations, Andrew Ip, property is 929 Summit Avenue, block 202, lot 2. Resolution granting variance for maximum improved lot coverage. Draft of the resolution was circulated for review prior to the meeting this evening. I'll open it for comments or questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Merman.
I reviewed this resolution and had a discussion with Marina, and she'll direct you for the revisions that were made.
All right, so for this resolution on page 5, paragraph 20, which continues from the previous page, at the end of the last sentence, I'm including language regarding installing landscaping and screening to shield the patio. That was discussed at the meeting, but I neglected to include that. On page 6, I had in paragraph 28, just removing the citation to 70C1 because that didn't apply to this application. And then on page 8, so I added a subparagraph F to the list of conditions to include the landscaping and screening of the patio. And
Okay.
those were my only edits for that one.
Okay. Thank you. With those edits in mind, I'll look for a resolution to approve the resolution. Motion to
So-
approve resolution, excuse me.
So moved?
Thank you, Ms. Bowman. There's a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Cray, beat Mr. Arkelian.
All right.
fast.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Cray.
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian
Yes.
and Councilman Kaniga. All right, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move into our next category this evening, which is completeness review. The first application this evening is for Daniel and Amanda Fitzpatrick. The property is 211 Valley Road, block 1103, lot 32. This is an application for approval of additions and alterations to an existing single-family residence with a proposed new second story and front porch additions, and seeking relief for front yard setback, lot coverage, maximum improved lot coverage variance relief. Ms. Steinle.
Yes, thank you. Prior to this meeting, I reviewed the proofs submitted by the applicant and found them to be sufficient for the board to have jurisdiction and hear the application tonight.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Behrens.
Good evening. In terms of completeness, I reviewed the application materials, which included architectural plans, site plan, and existing property survey, all of which appear to be accurate and properly depict the proposed improvements. So I think the board can determine the application is complete.
Okay, thank you, sir. Comments, questions from the board on completeness of this application? Okay, I would look to the board for a motion to deem this application complete.
So moved?
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Ms. Bowman.
Okay, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
yes,
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Second application this evening for completeness review is Paul Yoon. Property is 82 Spring Valley Avenue, block 208, lot 19. The proposal is to develop a rear deck addition, resulting in an increase of the property's improved lot coverage to a non-conforming 39.3%, seeking variance relief. Ms. Steinle.
Yes, thank you. Prior to this meeting, I reviewed the proof submitted by the applicant and found them to be sufficient for the board to have jurisdiction to hear the application tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Barnes?
Yes, and I've reviewed the application materials. Again, this is for a rear deck application, fairly straightforward, which includes the property survey and proposed deck plan. I'll note that the coverages on the proposed plan don't include the discount that the borough has in its ordinance of coverage, which basically states if you have a detached garage in the rear yard, that you discount the driveway coverage from the front of the house to the front of the garage. So that may be where you notice a disparity between the coverages shown on the plan versus I think my letter of denial and also Mr. Costa's firm's report. So just as a point of clarification, but otherwise the application seems to be in order to proceed this evening.
Okay, thanks, sir. Questions from the board on completeness of this application? Okay, I'll look for a motion to deem this application complete.
Who moved?
Thank you, Mr. Cray. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Boland.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
yes,
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
Great. Thank you all. We're going to move on now into the new business portion of the agenda. First item for consideration is the application of Daniel and Amanda Fitzpatrick, properties 211 Valley Road, block 1103, lot 32, application seeking variance relief for front yard setback, lot coverage, and maximum improved lot coverage for additions to a single family residence. I think we've got, looks like we have the applicant here as well as the applicant's architect.
That's correct.
Mr. Bruno, good evening.
Good evening.
Gonna ask Ms. Steinle to
I'll have everyone sworn in. If you
sworn in.
put your right hands, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
I do. All right, and I'll go through the applicants first. Just state your name, provide your last name and address for the record, and then Mr. Bruno will go through your qualifications as well.
I'm Daniel Fitzpatrick, and we live at 211 Valley Road in River Edge.
And Amanda Fitzpatrick, 211 Valley Road in River Edge.
And Mr. Bruno.
It's Joseph J. Bruno, 29 Pascack Road, Park Ridge, New Jersey.
And could you provide the board with some background on your qualifications? I know you were before us a couple weeks ago, but just for
I'd
the
be happy
record.
to. I earned my Bachelor of Architecture degree from the School of Architecture at New Jersey Institute of Technology in 1983. And I was licensed as an architect in New Jersey in 1988. And I'm also licensed in New York. I served on the zoning board in East Rutherford for, I believe, it was a long time ago, but I believe it was 4 years, and I served as the vice chairman for 2 years. And I've testified extensively as an expert witness before planning boards and zoning boards throughout New Jersey and also New York.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board on Mr. Bruno's qualifications? Okay, Welcome back, Mr. Bruno. Turn the floor over to you.
Thank you. Good to be here. Mr. Fitzpatrick would like to start off, and then I can fill in the color on the details of the project.
Yeah, hi. So just to give you a little bit of background on Amanda and I and our family, we moved to River Edge in 2014 with our 5-month-old preemie identical twins. We had been living in a 2-bedroom apartment in East Rutherford, which we thought would be big enough for us to start our family, but being blessed with 2 kids at once who came home with, oxygen tanks and heart monitors, we quickly realized that we needed to find a home. When we moved to River Edge, which was at the top of our list, I'm a commuter to New York City. My wife is an educator in Bergen County, grew up in Bergen County. The reputation of River Edge preceded itself with the school systems, the community, and we've found all of that to be true. We've had a wonderful 9 years here. We fell in love with the town. We've both volunteered in different activities through rec sports or, putting on events through the Junior Women's Club. So the love for the town was there, and then we went and had another child. So our family of 4 went to a family of 5, and our 3-bedroom home, as they've gotten older, the twins are 9 and my little guy is 6 now, has just proved to be something that we're going to be outgrowing any second now. And we'd love for this to be our forever home. We want to grow old here. We want our kids to go to the high school. We want them to come back with their kids as we grow old. So we thought the best way to do that was to create more space with the home that we're currently in. We love our neighbors, the neighborhood, the community, and we're hoping that this is the solution that helps us do that. I'll turn it over to Joe to.
Okay, can everyone see my screen? Are they drawing up on the screen?
I was seeing a blank right now. It just says you've started sharing your screen, but nothing.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, say I'm sharing.
I don't see it either.
Yeah, if you.
Yeah, I can't.
Might have to select the actual, there you go.
There we go.
There you go.
You have it now?
Yep.
Yeah, we may need to zoom in a little bit, so it's.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give the board the overall on the variances required, and then I will zoom in on the floor plans to describe what we're proposing. We need 3 variances as indicated on my drawing, as well as Mr. Barron's report and Mr. Costa's report. We require a variance for lot coverage or building coverage. 25% is permitted. We are presently at 27.1%. We are proposing to be at 30% should the project be approved. Improved lot coverage or impervious coverage, as it's sometimes called, permitted is 35%. We are existing at 45.3%, and the original proposal was for 46.8%, and I'll explain that in a moment. And then the front yard setback permitted is 30 feet. We are at 26.3 feet. We're proposing 24.3 feet to the front edge of the proposed porch. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Fitzpatrick had originally were planning on keeping the existing swimming pool, above ground pool, and the portion of the deck that services it. In the last week or so, they decided that they wanted to eliminate that. So in so doing, we would be reducing the proposed improved lot coverage from 46.8% to 39.4%. which is actually even less than what is there at present day, which is 45.3. But as part of that, they recognize that they need to be a little bit more, they need to look forward into the future with the kids and widen the driveway. So to widen the driveway to 18 feet, which is in the municipal allowances, and we would be at least 2 feet away from the property line, which again is within the requirement. We would be at 3,150 square feet as improve lot coverage, and that translates to 42%. So although we're above what is permitted, which is 35%, we are less than, at 42%, we are less than the present 45.3%. So that is one benefit where we're even though we're asking for a variance on the improved lot coverage, we're decreasing that which exists now. The proposal for the actual construction is as follows. Right now, there's a small vestibule in front of the house where the front door, there's a living room, kitchen, and family room here, 1-car garage, and then there are three bedrooms. So what we're proposing to do is to open up the floor plan, and where this hatching is, this is an alcove within the existing open wood deck. We would enclose it to allow the kitchen and living space to be expanded and to have a more of an open floor plan. Then the master bedroom and the 1 bedroom at the that's located at the northeast corner would remain. The other bedroom would be converted to both a mudroom and a laundry. So we would be able to accommodate those functions on the first floor. And then this hatched area that you see here in the front would be a small covered porch to, and I'll go through the elevations in a moment, but that would provide some cover at the entrance, which presently does not exist, as well as add some aesthetic benefit to the front facade. And then at the second floor, I'll just toggle to that for a moment. At the second floor, we would then create three bedrooms plus a shared bath for the kids. Then the front or east elevation would look like so. This is the covered front porch, the second floor addition, and then the facade would be updated with new siding, stone, and roofing. Then the rear would look like so. Again, we would do new siding and roofing throughout. Now the benefit to this would be that at present the stormwater is not what I would call controlled. Right now, the rainwater downspouts in front of the house are drain underground to the street and exit through the curb, so that poses a potential for freezing in the wintertime. And the rainwater downspouts in the rear spill out onto the grade. So if the project were to be approved, the Fitzpatricks would hire a civil engineer, New Jersey licensed civil engineer, to design an underground stormwater management system that would cover not only the proposed new areas, but the existing roof as well. So that, coupled with a reduction in the overall improved lot coverage, would create a much improved drainage situation, not only for the property itself, but for the surrounding properties that may be affected during a severe rain event. And I'd like to be happy to answer any questions or comments that the board may have at the present time.
Okay, I'm going to first turn to our planner, Mr. Behrens.
Sure. Good evening. Thank you for that overview, Mr. Fitzpatrick and Mr. Bruno. I guess just as a point of clarification for the board, the property did receive prior variance approval from what was then the zoning board in 2011, which approved the existing deck configuration and pool. And so I guess a question for Mr. Bruno, just looking at the plan, the proposal is to remove obviously the pool and the deck, which is immediately to the left.
Yes, that is correct.
But to maintain the other portion of the deck.
Yes.
Okay, just for sake of clarity. And there is a shed on the property also.
That would remain as well.
Right. Okay. Just again for the record and as a point of clarification. So, I mean, as I think Mr. Bruno factually stated the issues, You have an existing dwelling, they're removing what they're removing and proposing to widen the deck by 18 feet, which is, to me, about the minimum functional width you could have for to stack two cars side by side. The second story addition is over part of the house. It's not the full house. Again, there are the three variances. There's the front yard setback, which is 24.3 feet, which is to the porch, which is, not the entirety of the frontage or the front facade, but what you see up on the screen. The house already has an existing non-conforming setback of 26.3 feet. And then the coverages are what they are. Mr. Bruno, you said the lot coverage will be increased. That's a function of what? The porch and
the porch and that the infill in that U-shaped spot on the existing deck. So although this addition contributes to the building coverage, it does not contribute to the improved lot coverage.
Right. So, in terms of the criteria, and how big is the lot, Mr. Bruno? Do you know
The lot is 7,500 square feet.
Okay, so it's sort of the minimum standard lot size.
Correct.
Again, it's a developed lot. We've heard the applicant's proposal to improve it. I think, in terms of the porch, it seems to be, an aesthetically pleasing feature and enhancement potentially for the neighborhood, which, again, is only a portion of the front of the house. And then there are the coverage issues, but, again, I think we have to look at this as a context-specific situation where prior relief was granted. And there's an opportunity to reduce it by some amount. And, obviously it's up to the board what the appropriate amount will be. So I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Behrens. Mr. Costa.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Basically based on the testimony, the only thing I would say is if the board does approve it, obviously we need a new plan to show exactly what the board is approving. And then the only question I had, and maybe this goes back to Tom, if a previous board approved 45.3% coverage, if they reduce it to 42, I believe I heard the testimony, 42 and change, would they even need a variance for that?
I think technically, I understand your point. Maybe we'll ask for a legal interpretation, but I think technically, because it's not simply a removal, but sort of a replacement.
Yeah, I would agree that we would want to update the record to reflect the variance for what is being reduced.
Right.
Yeah.
And then again, if you're going to amend, I guess you need to amend the application, Mr. Bruno or the Fitzpatricks, just obviously to change it, Marina, right? Because obviously I don't want to get into the notice, but the notice would be.
Well, the notice was for the larger amount, so if they go less, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, that would be it. And then again, Mr. Chairman, they talked about drainage. Obviously, they could do that through the soil moving permit. And again, it would be a requirement at that point, or it's a requirement if you guys put it on tonight, and they would have to do that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Costa. I'm going to open to the board for questions. Ms. Boland, I'll start with you.
You're on mute, Ms. Boland.
Wow, I was really talking away. Sorry about that. I was just saying that the fact that it's a reduction in coverage and what they're increasing are two things that we encourage: a front porch and an 18-foot wide driveway. I don't really have a problem with this coverage request.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Boland. Mr. Cray?
Yeah, just so I'm clear, because I think I missed part of the explanation. You said you're going to remove the wood deck. Now, I know that there's the
small square area where the kitchen's gonna be, obviously that's gonna be kitchen now. Which part of the existing deck is gonna remain and what's gonna go?
This rectangular portion of the existing deck will remain. And this portion of the deck that's immediately to the left of the swimming pool will be removed. So I'll just draw an X through, I'll draw an X through the port. Okay, something's not working here. I'll draw an X through the portion of the deck that will be removed, as well as the swimming pool. The balance of the deck is going to remain.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest the deck get smaller, so you beat me to it. So, no, that's all I want to know. Thank you.
Okay,
So I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
No, I said I'm fine. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Arkalian?
Ms. Boland basically echoed what I was about to say, so I'm good at this point.
Okay, Mr. Gibbons?
I'll concur. Ms. Boland said it clearly. We're reducing things and, it seems to be a modest improvement to the property and in line with what we look for in town. So I don't have any issues.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor?
I concur.
Okay. Mr. Councilman?
Yeah, I concur, and I just want to point out, I really appreciate the Fitzpatricks and Mr. Bruno. They touched upon all the things that we always talk about, so they came prepared, and they knew that we would be asking them those questions, and the reduction is a great thing, and it looks beautiful, so good luck. I appreciate what you did.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pfeffer?
No questions.
All right, thank you, sir. I think, Mr. Merman, I believe you are, I think I've got you as the,
Okay, Mr. Bruno, you submitted some photographs with your application. Do you care at this point to discuss those?
I would be happy to. Let me just get to, I think I can share them. Yes, okay. Can you see them?
I have the copies.
here we go.
Yes.
Yep,
Okay, so photograph number 1 is the east or the front elevation of the subject residence. So you can see it's 1 story. This in the center here is the entrance. So the porch would be constructed to the front of this existing foyer and then go to the left. Photograph number 2 is the west or the rear elevation view of the subject residence. You'll see the chimney and the fireplace that's in the family room. The proposed first floor expansion will be in this recess to the left of the family room. Photograph number 3 is the west or rear elevation view of the subject residence, and the proposed expansion at the first floor is behind where this blue umbrella is. Photograph number 4 is the west or the front elevation view of the residence located at 212 Valley Road, which is essentially across the street. I'd like to specifically note that the proposed Fitzpatrick residence will be significantly smaller in scale than the house across the street. So despite the variances requested, will fit in nicely with the neighborhood. Photograph number 5 is the east or the front elevation view of the residence located at 207 Valley. Number 6 is the west or the front elevation view of the residence located at 206 Valley. And the photograph 7 is the east or front elevation view of the residence located at 215 Valley. And you can see that this house has got a very nice front porch as well. So the proposal that we're putting forth is definitely in keeping not only with the scale but the character of the neighborhood, more in keeping with the architecture of photograph number 7, of course. But you get the idea. We're not trying to be to be anything that we can't be, and I think that the proposal is properly scaled for the neighborhood.
And I just want to say, those are Halloween decorations on the front lawn. It's not like trash or anything like that.
And the bushes.
Yeah, and we will do new landscaping. That's a must.
Okay, Mr. Bruno, I have a clarification on your drawing. When you put up your drawing, sheet 1 of 2, it was very dark, and I couldn't really see it closely. So I just want you to clarify something.
Sure.
When I look at sheet 1, the master bedroom area, there's 2 blanks on the drawing I'm looking at. I'm assuming that one's the bath and another's the closet. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, yeah, I apologize for that. The first circle that I'm gonna draw is where the bathroom is.
Okay, and then right
Okay,
below.
and the second one is the closet, yes.
Okay, all right. I only bring that up because we had a prior application where we had some problems. Okay, now, that's great. I just quickly want to talk about the site, and first of all must echo the comments of the other board members and congratulate you for removing the pool and the part of the decking associated with it, because the way the original site plan looked, quite frankly, it was a poster child for over usage of land, and I want to congratulate you for correcting that.
Thank you.
And yes, and I wish we could have more of this. I think, let me just make sure. I think that's the only questions I had and comments. When we get to the motion area, I'm going to need a little help here because we made some changes. I guess I have a question for Mr. Costa. You're still going to request the drainage calculation and so forth?
Correct, yes.
You
Yes.
are. Okay, all right. So that's great. So then we're going to make sure that goes underground or whatever. And you're still, I guess, Mr. Bruno, I still believe that you were going to confirm the building height. Is that my?
Yeah,
correct?
the building height is indicated at 27 feet 8 inches, which I measured from the low point. And what will happen once the engineered site plan is
Right.
prepared, we will then be able to set the ridge and ensure that
Right.
the ridge line will be in accordance with the municipal ordinance. And typically what I do is a fail safe, because we could put anything we want on the drawing, and sometimes the guys in the field don't pay too close attention. What I typically do on my documents is to give instructions to the contractor to set the ridge beam, and prior to installing all of the roof rafters, he has to have the surveyor come out and verify that the ridge complies with the height before completing the framing of the roof.
All right. So basically you're saying you're going to comply with Mr. Costa's request.
In every way.
Okay. I think that sums up my questions and concerns and happiness for the reduction. I quickly would want to, before I make a motion, I want to review this with you folks. Right now, I have a front yard setback
Well, hold that thought, Mr.
Oh,
Murray.
yes, okay, yep, we gotta go public, all right.
Yep,
I guess I'm too anxious.
it's okay. I'm with you. I have no questions. I would echo the sentiments you've already heard from the board members. I think you've done a very, it's apparent you've done your homework on this and have worked hard to make this application address a lot of the things that we're encountering, not the least of which is stormwater management. So that's duly noted. So we appreciate that. At this time, I'm going to look for a motion to open to the public for comments and questions on this application only.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Number second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cray. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? Okay, at this time, we're now open to the public for comments on this application only. Again, this is the Fitzpatrick application. Marina, I don't know if we have, I think it was one attendee.
We just have, it's Mr. Flores from Mr. Costas' office.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I don't think he has any questions. but-
Okay. We'll make that assumption. All right, with that, I'll look for a motion, please, to close to the public.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Second.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Cray, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? Okay, at this time, we are now closed to the public. And I will now turn to the board for if there are no further comments or questions, I'll look to the board for a motion on the application, please.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, as usual, I'll try to kick this off. There's been some changes, so let me confirm them before I put them in a motion. Right now, I see the front porch setback for the new porch is going to change that setback from 30 foot required to 24.3 feet, I believe, feet. Correct. Is it, that's right. Is it not? Okay.
24.3.
24 foot, okay, good. The improved lot coverage, you're proposing, I believe, 39.4, if I heard correctly.
No, sir, that was before the expansion of the driveway, so we would be at 42%.
42%, okay.
Right, the original request was 46.8, so we reduced
Okay.
the request from 46.8 to 42.
To 42, all right. And I would also note in that when I make that motion, that item will also refer to the previous zoning board approval of January 11th, 2006, which was 41.7. So you're slightly above that, which is great.
Well, the I guess like to note that that application, I think, was not accurate because based on what I took from the my own field measurements as well as the survey that the Fitzpatricks had done, it was actually 45.3 as existing. So but in any event, you know, we're at 42. So
unfortunately, that number was voted on and approved no matter of record. Okay.
Yeah. So I can't answer to it.
So I'm going to refer to that. All
right. Okay.
It's carved, whether it was correct or not. So be it.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, there was some discussion when you widen the driveway. There was going to be a change of some kind. I didn't quite catch that. Can somebody inform me on that?
The driveway will be 18 feet in width, and will maintain the at least 2 feet setback from the property lines in accordance with the borough code.
Okay.
And I think they were gonna tie the drainage into a new drainage system They were
Yeah,
gonna
well, that-
eliminate the
yeah.
way it is now.
Oh, okay, that comes under Mr. Costa's review of the stormwater. Okay. So am I looking at that there's really only three items here?
Yeah.
Okay, is that correct? Only three items?
Correct.
The front yard setback, the improved lot coverage, and the driveway width and offset.
The lot coverage
coverage.
variance of 30% too.
The lot
Building
cover-
coverage.
the lot coverage is greater than 35?
The lot coverage is greater than 25. It's gonna be 30.
Oh, okay, lot coverage, now 30. You said 35, correct? All right, from 25, okay, to 30. All right, so let me give this a shot. I'll make a motion that the land use board, approve the following, for the Fitzpatrick residence located at 211 Valley Road, block 1103, lot 32. And that the following relief be granted, that the front yard setback for the proposed new porch be 24.3 feet versus the required of 30 feet. That the lot coverage will increase from 25% to a new proposed 35%. I think we just said
30%.
30.
to 30, okay. All right, and that the improved lot coverage proposed for the new plan layout will reduce to 42.0%, and it is noted that a prior zoning board of adjustment approval for impervious lot coverage that was approved on January 11th, 2006, approved a coverage of 41.7 versus the 42 that's being requested presently. And likewise, the new revised site plan will show an 18-foot driveway width with a 2-foot offset from the property line. I think that's it unless I missed something.
And just removal of the pool and the deck.
Oh,
next to the
well,
pool.
yeah, likewise, yeah, all right. Likewise, we note that at the pool and its adjoining deck, a new site plan will be showing that layout. And the other item is that the applicant agrees to conform to Mr. Costa's office's comments, particularly relating to stormwater management and the building height. I think hopefully that's it.
That's all I had.
I believe it is.
Okay.
I'm good. So on that motion, I'll look for a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cray. Ms. Steinle, when you're ready.
Okay, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Now, just as a point of clarification, I will revise my drawings to reflect what was discussed this evening, and I'll send it to Mr. Alter for for distribution so that when the resolution is drafted, there are no there's nothing that's to chance, in
Okay.
terms of accuracy.
Thank you.
And I could have that, I could send that after the weekend if that's okay.
That'd be
That
fine.
works.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you. Congratulations. Good luck.
Congratulations, folks.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Moving along in our agenda, our next item under new business is the application of Paul Yoon. Property is 82 Spring Valley Avenue, Block 208, Lot 19. This is an application for installation of a proposed deck, which would result in an increase in the improved lot coverage requiring variance relief. I believe Mr. Yoon is here this evening. I see him in the audience. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How's it going?
Going all right. I'm going to ask our board attorney to swear you in.
All right. If you do you have anyone else here with you today?
Yes, I have Mr. Yuno Nam, who's my architect.
Okay, I'll swear you both in. If you please raise your right hands, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, and Mr. Yoon, please state your name, spell your last name, and provide your address for the record, and then we'll go through your architect's qualifications as well.
Sure. My name is Paul Yoon. I live at 82 Spring Valley Avenue, River Edge, New Jersey.
All right, thank you. And then could you provide your qualifications and your business address for the record, Mr. Yoon?
Hi, this is Yoon Nam, and I'm an engineer for this project.
Engineer. Okay.
I represent Aligned Engineering Company located at 21 Grand Avenue, Palisades Park, New Jersey. To qualify myself, I obtained my license in 2019 in New York and in 2023 in New Jersey by committee. So I'm a professional engineer I'm a site civil engineer.
And your license is current and in good standing?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr.
Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I've got a question before we proceed. I'm assuming we have enough for a quorum if I do not participate in this.
I'm sorry?
We have a quorum if I do not participate in this application, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Oh, because even though I'm not in the zone required for notification, it's on my block. It's about 400 feet away, and I feel more comfortable not participating, recusing myself in this case.
Okay.
That's fine. Fair point.
All right, I think that's the only other matter on the board, or on the agenda. But if you want to stay on, I'll just ask that you just turn off your camera and stay muted for the remainder.
That'd be fine.
Thanks.
Okay. Any questions from the board on Mr. Nam's qualifications? Okay. With that, I'll turn back to Mr. Yoon. For the benefit of the board, please, if you would just give a description of the work that you're seeing, work that you are contemplating to your property for which you're looking for variance relief from the board.
Sure. Just wanted to thank you, everybody here. I know individually you guys are all busy, and I can only imagine how hard it is to get everyone together. So I really do appreciate your time and your efforts here. I moved to River Edge back in May 2022. So I had the benefit of living in my current house, which is a new construction, existing foundation, for 2 summers. I have the space in the backyard is pretty big, but for reasons that be, I moved here with my toddler, who's now 3 years old, and my wife. And the space is not exactly usable, which I'll go into detail more, but we're asking for improved lot coverage of 39.3% versus the required of 35%. And I'm looking to put a rear deck in the back, and just kind of show you like a picture. This is not the actual drawing, but kind of gives you a sense of what I'm trying to do here. Basically, if you can see my screen, it's kind of like a rectangle here, which will be 19 by 18 feet.
And Mr. Yoon, was this provided to the board in the application documents?
No, no, I'm just trying to give
Okay.
an example of how it kind of look. I think visually it's kind of just kind of show people what I'm kind of envisioning.
Okay, I'm gonna have to just mark the picture as an exhibit.
Okay, sure,
So this will be exhibit A1.
sure.
And could you just describe what the picture is?
Yes, this is a rear deck that I found online that kind of gave me the inspiration for what we're trying to do here. So in the back, it will be 19 feet by 18 feet, but there won't be this corner. This will be a filled-in corner here. And the thing that's kind of different, I want to put like this 6x8 rectangle that's adjacent to one of the corners, but this will be on the other side actually. But that's kind of like the inspiration I had, so that's kind of how it would look, roughly speaking. So that's the kind of the deck that I want to put in, and the materials will be composite deck boards in the color of coconut husk, which is akin to a sandalwood or light wood color, if you will. I will have white vinyl postings and black railings. So I believe aesthetically will be an appealing structure. To my knowledge, there have been no prior approvals for improvements that are existing non-conformities. And going to address some of the hardships, my lot is a substandard lot at 6,500 square feet. When my understanding is the standard in River is 7,500 square feet, so I have a substandard lot. The property is slightly sloped in different areas. And so again, I have a 3-year-old who's very active, a 3-year-old boy is very active, and the sloping, you can trip if you run around in the area, you can trip a lot, as I have done. So that's why we don't use the backyard a lot. And like I said, it's a existing foundation, new construction. So there's a lot of rocks. I've actually filled 2 bags of heavy duty construction bags of rocks, and they keep on coming back when it rains. So there's a lot of rocks that also make it dangerous. And the rear entry has a, let me just show you. This is what it looks like right now. It's pretty steep, this rear entry. So I want to replace this with the rear deck that I had mentioned. I don't know.
I'm sorry to interrupt again. This photo, was this submitted with the
No,
application? All right, so I'll mark this as exhibit A2.
Right.
Photo of rear steps. And did you take this photo?
Yes, I did.
And do you know the date?
Today. I just took it today before this meeting.
Okay. All right. And then any of the exhibit documents, can you just send to Mr. Alter on
Yes.
email? So then I'll have them. Okay, thank you.
Will do. So as you can imagine, this is pretty steep, and having a 3-year-old trying to run up this would be a little worrisome. So we don't really use in the past 2 summers that I told you that I've been here, we've probably gone out less than 10 times because it's not that suitable for little kids. So basically, for those reasons, I want to build a deck in the back to make it more usable space. And as you know, in River Edge, there are many decks, as I'm sure you guys have approved variances for that. But it's a standard feature, which I'm also asking for my property. And it will make a better use of the backyard for my family, and especially my child. And for what it's worth, my understanding is that this town and the board are concerned with non-impervious coverage, but under the deck would have spacing between it so that there could be water and rainfall that comes through. And under the deck, I'm not going to put any concrete. It's just going to be either gravel or soil, so it won't be impervious, for whatever that's worth. So that's pretty much what my first request is from my standpoint, and hopefully I addressed all the general comments, and my architect, Mr. Yuno Nam, will address any of the engineering comments.
Yeah, I'll take this over and share my screen. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
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 Okay, so this is existing survey taken from surveyor, dated May 4th, 2022. Basically, the scope of work will include removing these stepping stones and existing stairs and construct a new wood deck. The wood deck will be 19 by 18. And as you can see, the existing the elevation at the bottom of the grade is 99.18, and we're kind of elevating to match the flow finish to first floor. So this deck will be basically elevated deck so that we are not going to remove or excavate any soils or disturb any existing grade around the proposed deck. And the deck will require one variance for the improved lot coverage by 39.30, which is like less than 5% of the maximum coverage. And I'd like to mention again that this lot is undersized by 1,000 square feet, and this will impact negatively on our improved lot coverage, so that we have to go through the variances. And there will be no lighting or landscaping proposed along with this deck, and there will be no interfere or affect any existing utilities underneath. And yeah, that's all I have for now, and I'll take your questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you, Mr. No. I'm going to turn to our planner, Mr. Behrens.
Sure, good evening. So just to be clear, I think the plan that's shown on the screen is an update from the current plan. All right, so you may need to mark that as a subsequent exhibit, first of all.
So this will be exhibit A3. And what's the date on?
This is dated December 7th, and this was forwarded to the town on December 7th as well.
Okay, and it appears to address that discount of the driveway coverage between the front of the house to the garage, which seems to then correctly provide the proposed improved lot coverage calculation of 39.3%. So I generally agree with the calculations that are being shown. The plan appears to be accurate. I guess one question would be that sort of corner feature that you have, is that intended to have a pergola on it, as shown in the I guess that architectural rendering we saw earlier?
No, it wasn't. No pergola there. That again,
No
that
pergola.
was just more of the inspiration for what I was going for, but no
Okay.
pergola.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. Undersized lot. It currently does not have a rear yard amenity feature in the form of a deck or patio. Currently, the coverage is conforming at 33.2%, and it appears that the deck is a proposed total of 365 square feet. Again, it's about 18 feet by 19 feet. And that's the request on the table.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Behrens. Mr. Costa?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing with this, I believe a seepage pit was put in the backyard. So the question is where that seepage pit is. And if it isn't, that the footings for the deck would not impact the drainage system that exists. And I think Mr. Yoon testified that he would put pervious material underneath the deck, which is fine. If it's going to be gravel, put a certain amount of gravel underneath, and then you wouldn't have to do anything else with stormwater management, as long as he's not going to change the grade or anything or impact any of the neighbors to the east.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Costa.
You're welcome.
We're going to open it to the board for questions. Mr. Mayor, start with you.
So if I understand it right, there's at this point with the revised revised drawings that are currently up, there's only one variance required, and that is the variance of improved lot coverage. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, and that it would be an improved lot coverage of 39.3% on an undersized lot, correct?
Correct.
And if you calculate, when I calculate the lot size compared to our standard size, it's about 87% or 13% smaller than our standard lot. And if you calculate, that would be 87% of actual. And when you take the 39% and multiply it by 87%, you get an improved lot coverage on a standard lot, which would be 34.7. I think that this is a reasonable request on an undersized lot that does come in at 39.3, but when you discount for the size, it really comes within 4.7. I think it'll be an improvement in the neighborhood. And so I have no issues.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Councilman?
I think the mayor said it all. No issues. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Boland? I think you may be muted.
Okay, I have no questions and I also agree with the mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Arkelian?
I'm good. It's another one of those issues where the builder maxes out the building and then leaves the owner stuck coming to us. But I think what he's asking for is very fair under the circumstances and the fact that he's not going to put concrete underneath. It's really not a true impervious coverage, so I'm good.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Pfeffer?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gibbons?
No, as everyone said, this seems very reasonable with the circumstances, so no problems.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Merman?
I have one additional comment. When I look at Mr. Costa's report, he says that the existing building height is 31.4 feet. And this obviously is over the allowable 30. How do we handle this?
Well, I think the history of the development, as Mr. Yoon stated, was that there was I guess there's really an alteration back in 2022. And I believe the original component of the house, which is sort of, we'll call it the left side of the house, which is oriented in a north-south orientation. I believe that was the original part of the house that actually remained. And then what was to the right of the house was the addition, which had a slightly lower roof ridge elevation. So my understanding is that it's very likely an existing non-conforming situation and that the addition that occurred in 2022 was conforming. I mean, that's my understanding of the situation.
All right. I guess my question to you is, do we acknowledge this in any sense in our resolution?
Well, as an existing non-conforming condition.
Correct.
I mean, the applicant's not necessarily requesting relief from it. I think it could be acknowledged that the plan as represented was approved by the board and that, the board is tasked or, focused on the coverage element of the application.
If I could chime in, I would agree that we would just acknowledge that it's an existing non-conforming condition, but not ratify that condition because we're just focused on the deck.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
I
Merman.
guess that basically we just have one variance.
Yes.
Correct?
That's what, yes, correct.
Okay, very good. So
Okay.
I'll wait for you to go to public. That's the only comment I have.
Okay, thanks, sir. I have no comments as well. So at this point, I'm going to look to the board for a motion to open to the public on this application.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Ms. Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? Okay, at this time, we're now open to the public for comment on this application only. I don't think we have anybody who's shown up in the few minutes since we were last open.
Nope, I don't see anyone.
Okay, in that case, I will look to the board for a motion to close to the public.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Have a second?
Second,
Thank you, Ms. Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? Okay. We are now closed to the public for comment on this application. At this time, I will look to the board, unless there are any further questions or comments, I will look to the board for a motion on this application.
Mr. Chairman, as usual, I'll make the motion for starters.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that the land use board of the River Edge regarding the Yoon application at 82 Spring Valley Avenue, block 208, lot 32. Be granted a variance for improved lot coverage of 39.3% as versus the 35 required normal standard. Further, that the board recognizes that there is a non-conforming existing height condition, and this apparently is a result of various grade changes or what have you over the history of this site. And that the applicant adhere to all the conditions and comments presented by Costa Engineering report. I think that's it, Mr. Chairman.
okay. I think that, and I'll look for a second on the motion, please.
second,
Thank you, Ms. Boland. Ms. Steinle, when you're ready.
Okay, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
yes,
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Arkelian,
Yes,
Councilman Kanigo,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
Okay. Should we also reflect for the record that Mr.
Oh.
Cray recused himself?
Yes,
Okay.
with the recusal from Mr. Cray.
Okay, very good.
congratulations, Mr. Yoon.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you. And again, thank
Good
you
luck.
everybody for your time. I really appreciate it.
Quite welcome. Mr. Cray, if you're still there, you're welcome to come back.
I think the moral of the story is you
I
gotta put
missed
an
you.
application in, do it right before the holidays. Everybody's happy.
Very true. One last item before we break, as this is our last meeting of the year. I would like to offer thanks for Councilman Kanigo's service to this board over the past several years, and we appreciate your efforts in helping us navigate through the various issues that we've encountered. And with that, we also welcome his replacement, was Councilman David Glass. Good evening, sir.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be here. Looking forward to working with you guys.
We're looking forward to having you as well. So unless anyone has anything further, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Mr.
Just a
Chairman, I
quick,
just want to. I would like to
before you
thank
do, I
Mr.
just wanted
Chairman.
to thank everybody. This board is just terrific. It's really been one of the best experiences of being a councilman, being able to sit here and listen to you all and learn from you all. We've got some members with some great experience and they continue to give of themselves. I recognize how important that is to our town. And I just want to thank you all for what you do for this town.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Arkelian.
So I do want to thank Councilman Kanengo as well. He's been very focused and a great panel member. He's also been a wonderful councilman. I secretly watched the meetings when you guys don't know it. And I've enjoyed both him as a member and also as a friend. So you'll be greatly missed, Dario.
Here, here.
All right,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Merman.
I'd like to thank Mr. Chiango Councilman, for his service. I feel on some of the same positions that he does, particularly the overdevelopment of some of these properties, especially the 41% issue and so forth. I want to just say I've been happy working and glad working with you and enjoyed your outlooks.
The feeling
Thank
is
you.
mutual. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, if there's nothing,
have a
I
comment?
think Mr. Alter is raising a hand, so.
Yes, I'd also like to thank the councilman for his service. He brought a unique perspective to our panel, and he was always very responsive as far as I was concerned. Just to let everybody know, our next meeting is the reorg meeting on January 10th. Everybody have a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Nothing
just want to
further?
conclude by again thanking Councilman Kanigo for his wisdom, for his dedication, for his constant service to the Borough of River Edge, to the Land Use Board, and he will be missed.
Thank you all. Thank you. Means a lot.
All right, if nothing further, at this point, I'll look to a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Cray. Is there a
Second.
second? I think I have Mr. Arkelian. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and happy Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody here.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
happy holidays.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, everyone. We
Bye-bye.
stay adjourned 8:58 p.m. All the best.
Good night.
Bye, Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.